What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, June 27th. Guess what?
What's that?
10 months till my birthday.
Whoa.
That's right,
We're
everybody.
so
It's right around the corner. 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. a man rocking a sweatshirt I wish my neck got all stretched out so I can't wear it anymore, a.k.a. the OK Beast, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Like the neck of your shirt got stretched?
Yeah, it like this PlayStation 5 sweater we got for Christmas one year hangs super low because I think Ben grabbed it a bunch. So it's a dad sweater for me now rather than a stylish sweater.
I mean, I don't know if this is a stylish sweater for me. Like I don't like how long the neck is.
Yeah,
because you always see my shirt I'm wearing.
Maybe that's just maybe that's the style of the shirt.
It could be. I mean, I could see this being a home shirt because it's very comfy. Like the inside texture is like very like soft.
Yeah, you don't think this is a stylish sweatshirt?
No, not really. It's like a bit loose too.
Chat, let us know.
Chat, yeah. Are you about to take a picture of me and post on Twitter and do a poll? Is that what you're about to do?
No. We're gonna call the most stylish person we know, Yusef, and see what he has.
Smart. 10 a.m. He's still asleep. I was wrong.
Hello, Greg Miller.
Hello, Yusef. How are you? Oh, you're on Kind of Funny Games Daily.
I'm doing wonderfully. How are you?
Good. Are you watching Kind of Funny Games Daily right now?
I'm not currently. I can pull it up.
Well, thanks for the support, Ubisoft. Yeah, turn it on. Turn it on and look at Blessing, because you're the most stylish man we know, and I need to know if this is a stylish sweatshirt. When this sweatshirt was originally delivered, everyone popped and said, this is such a great sweatshirt. I wore it. Jen complimented it a lot, yada, yada, yada. But I just called it a stylish sweatshirt, and Blessing's like, I don't think it's stylish anymore.
Okay. So I'm looking at it now. I see the PS5 logo. Is that it? Okay. Yeah,
that's it.
One shot.
Be honest.
It's a good looking video game brand sweatshirt.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it a stylish sweatshirt.
All right.
You could style it up, like you could dress it up a little bit. You
Okay.
could do some things to it. But yeah, on its own, I wouldn't call it stylish. As far as like game sweatshirt swag goes, I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Well, thank you very much, Ubisoft Yusef.
Happy to consult.
All right, bye.
And that's why I trust him for my style needs.
He doesn't
The fact
lie.
that
He's not going to lie.
He keeps it real.
Yeah.
He keeps it real.
He keeps it at 100.
He keeps it 100.
Yeah, that's enough, Greg.
I also did.
He's
What did you
pushing
drink this
Pete.
morning?
I've never seen Push Pete.
No, that's enough out of you,
Oh
Greg.
God. This morning I was like, do I dress down this morning? Because like it's kind of a chill day here in SF.
It is.
The weather's
It
kind
is.
of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of not rainy, but like it feels like it could downpour at any moment.
Yeah,
it's one of those days.
It's one of those good foggy days.
Yeah.
It's not raining, but it's wet.
And like as soon as I woke up, I felt that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it felt in
okay.
your bones.
It felt in my bones. I was like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be one of those kind of days.
I brought my Ecto 1 sweatshirt that I wear sometimes, which I feel is a similar dress down dad sweatshirt.
Yeah. And so for me, I was like, today I'm gonna dress for comfort as opposed to swag. And I think I don't know if that's where my day went wrong this morning, because for me, I've been experiencing a series of unfortunate events.
Well, your life almost ended. You
Yeah.
were threatened on the way to work.
Exactly. So like this morning, I woke up 7 sharp. Right. Usually I'm in bed until like 7:15 because my alarm rings. I turn it off, snooze it, all that stuff. I woke up 7 sharp, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do things right today. So I did that. Got through the day, got through the morning, prepped KHD, and then as I was leaving my house, I was like, you know what? Let me stop by Wendy's for breakfast. I never stop by Wendy's.
Sure.
Of course, I got my Wendy's coffee cup right here. Let me turn it to the audience and see.
Wendy's didn't sponsor it, but if you want to, Wendy's, look at all the walls we got. This could be Kind of Funny Games Daily, brought to you by Wendy's.
Exactly. Kindoffunny.com/contact us. I don't know that.
Nope.
That's close enough. But I got my Wendy's breakfast, which, I got French toast sticks. Haven't had French toast sticks in a while. They're new to the menu, and so I was like, I'll try these out. Pretty good. Pretty good. The side that came with, though, potato wedges.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's very weird. I was not expecting that for breakfast.
Yeah, I did Wendy's last week, and I came in, and immediately Kevin's like, Wendy's, huh? And I'm like, listen, it's just the first drive-through on my way to work.
Yeah.
Everything else is a stop, and I can't stop, so I went there. And I did the bacon, egg, and cheese on their biscuit, which was a fine sandwich. It was no Carl's Jr. It was no Hardee's, biscuit sandwich. But then, you get there, and I'm like, clear it's going to be
Thank you, Barrett.
hash brown coins, right? Because I saw it came in a carton. Nah, it's just potato wedges. I'm like,
Weird.
well, then you might as
This
well
is
just
not
give
a
me your
breakfast
fucking
item.
French fries at this point.
Yeah,
You know
like
what
I taste
mean?
them and they're all like garlicky and seasoned, and I'm like, this is too much for breakfast.
Yeah.
Still pre 10 a.m. But I do that, and I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I drive up to the gate for Kind of Funny,
Casino Bala in the chat goes #ad. At what point in this thing of us going like, yo, this is a fucked up side? Do you think Wendy's is like, here's the money?
Yeah, please, this is all part of the copy.
Listen, he said the sandwich was good. It wasn't as good as one of our competitors.
And like I did like the French toast, but yeah, the side was a bit much. But
Colin says they fucking slap. You two are weak. It's
just the time of day.
Why? I don't like. It's not like I'm getting a fucking skillet at Denny's where I need even then the hash browns would look different than this. These were just straight up
now
potato
I'm sitting
wafers.
If you're gonna do breakfast, like commit to the breakfast, you know?
That's why I'm sitting at KFC. I'm glad that we have space between us because I was already self-conscious about my breath.
Termite04 in the live chat. How y'all eat that and still look that good? What are you fucking talking about? What are you talking about?
So much reverberation going on in the stomach there.
Jesus Christ, move on.
So many
What happened? I'm
ripples.
done talking about Wendy's. That's your ad. Eat Wendy's.
They're not going to sponsor us now. Kindoffunny.com/contact us. So I get to the gate outside, right, to the parking lot. I press the remote to open the gate. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'm tapping that thing because I'm like, oh no, I've heard these horror stories before where the gate just doesn't open for Joey Noel. And so I'm pressing it. Nothing happens. I park my car right in front of the gate, which is also blocking traffic, but it's a dire situation. I get out. I go to the code. I try to type in the code. It doesn't work. And I'm like, well, it's been a while since I did this. So I go to the Slack. Ask what's the code. You tell me the same code I put in. I'm like, okay, that's what I thought. I tried it again, didn't work. So now I'm like, oh great. I'm running behind. I'm prepping KFD, but I gotta find parking first. Luckily, it only took me like 5 minutes to find parking in the area. I lucked out. Did that, and on my way to walking toward the office, I'm holding my Wendy's bag of food, and I'm holding a coffee. On my way to the office on this not rainy day, but it just feels like a rainy day for no reason. I'm like on my way walking to the office, and as I'm walking, I hear the loudest barks I've ever heard in my life, right a foot away from me. And I've never been so startled in my life to where I
throw the coffee in the air.
I jump and coffee spills on me. It wasn't a lot of coffee, thankfully, but it was just enough coffee for me to be like, ah, fuck. And then immediately I get startled, and then I pick up a jog of I don't know how close or far this dog is from me, but I need to start this running animation.
I can't believe I just missed that because I was pulling up and also going through the gate problems that you were, and then you were walking up to me as I was trying to put in the code. So I can't believe I drove past you as that was happening. I can't believe I missed it.
Oh yeah, no, it would have been hilarious if you saw this happen because it was like a jump, quick jog, and then me looking back and being like, okay, I think I'm good. The dog's behind the fence. But that's how my morning started.
Yeah. And junkyard dogs got me before too.
Oh yeah.
Because out there when I'm walking over to Popeyes, that's when
Barrett said the same thing. The dog's gotten him. At what point do we complain?
I guarantee
the dog is doing its job. Well.
I didn't do anything. I was just
but it also
my
didn't do anything to you.
Scared me.
I know. You scared it though. That's what they're gonna say,
That's
and
fair.
also,
I
if
guess
you
I
have a
did,
dog
yeah.
like that, you do not care.
That's true.
If you got a fucking pissed off German Shepherd and or pit bull back there, you ain't being like, oh, I really want to hear your complaints.
That's fair. No,
You say, oh, take it up with the dog. Let me open the door. You know what I mean?
We can fight. We had a conversation recently on Kind of Funny Next Gen podcast is coming out this weekend.
Patreon.com/kindoffunny.
About
one of the hundreds of exclusive episodes.
What's the most dangerous animal we think we could take out in a fight?
Yeah.
And when I tell you that my bar has gotten so much lower for myself after my encounter with that dog.
You and Roger have the way too much confidence. So much so that it's I think it might be more than Mike Howard. And that's concerning.
No.
Yes.
Ask Mike this question. He's going to say he'll take out a fucking lion. Because my answer was a coyote. I thought I could take out a coyote.
You also mentioned a shark at one point.
Well, it depends on where the water level is.
And then we showed a picture of a hyena to Roger, and he got real scared real fast.
If the water level was let's say, below the waist, I'm taking out that shark. Are you kidding me?
No way.
Punch it
down.
down.
Get your leg and take
your
you
legs.
down. It's like razor.
Yeah, but I'm I still have
Listen
mobility.
To the same exact conversation on the Next Gen podcast out this
I'm
weekend.
punching down like this. And that shark doesn't stand a chance. I'm taking out that shark.
Says the man scared with his Wendy's of a dog.
I almost lost my entire Wendy's order.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a bunch of Xbox acquisitions that almost happened. We have Zelda sales numbers and so much more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show for free by writing in over at kindoffunny.com/KFGD. Not contact us, KFGD, where you can ask questions about the day's news, squad up, and so much more. Of course, then you can tune in to watch the show live as we record it on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. If you're watching live, Gerardo is cool, Colin 58008, and missing link 000R. You have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. Of course, if you love this show, maybe you want it ad-free. Go to patreon.com/kindafunny. Each and every day over on patreon.com/kindafunny, we upload an ad-free version of KFGD for you to peruse and enjoy as a YouTube video and an MP3. And of course, on patreon.com/kindafunny, you could watch each and every podcast live as we record them. You could get them ad-free live or on demand. You could get hundreds of exclusive episodes of content that only live there, like Kinda Feudy, Gregway, and so much more. The Next Gen podcast that goes up this very weekend. And of course, there's also exclusive merch only on patreon.com/kindafunny. Most importantly, though, it keeps the lights and mics on. We are an independent operation of 11 people, and we could use your support. So if you enjoy Kinda Funny, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny. Some housekeeping for you. Well, of course, never forget the Epic creator code, Kinda Funny. If you're checking out the Epic Game Store, use that. Or if you're buying something in Fortnite, Rocket League on your console, go there. But housekeeping for you, come celebrate Tim's birthday with us Friday, June 30th. We'll be streaming all afternoon long to celebrate all things Tim Gettys on Twitch and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. It's going to be a fun show. IGN's Brian Altano will be in the building with me recording Let's Plays that we promised from, of course, our fundraising back in October. I'm sure I'm going to get him on stage at some point out here to hang out with us. If that wasn't enough birthday goodness for you, it's Joey Noel's half birthday, which means you can get 25% off everything in our RT store. That's the Rooster Teeth store with the code Christmas in June, all one word, of course. Remember, we started a new store at kindafunny.com/store, but that means over on roosterteeth.com, there's a bunch of Kinda Funny merch that we could really use selling. So go over there and get it cheap. 25% off Christmas in June with the code. A new Kinda Funny podcast is up right now. It's about Nick losing all his memories, but let's be honest. It's about how I open the show. And you know it's going to be a good podcast when, as I'm walking to fill my water to come out to do the podcast, Joey made eye contact with me and she goes, "Oh no, what do you have planned?" And I said, "How did you know?" And she's like, "You've got the look."
See, it's funny because we had that conversation right when the podcast started where Joey's like, "What do you guys think Greg's about to do on this episode of the podcast? Do you think he's about to bust out something crazy?" And Mike says to us, "Nah, he ain't got it today. He ain't got it today, Jabroni. He ain't got it. He ain't got the stuff." And sure enough, it sounds like he brought it.
I had
the first 30 seconds, I believe.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the thing. If I don't want to do the intro, I want to get right to it. You know it's going to be good. I'm just saying. Why is it illegal? That's all I'm saying.
What's illegal?
Nothing.
Oh no.
You'll see. You will go watch the podcast on youtube.com/kindafunny and podcast services around the globe. Is the Kinda Funny podcast. The XCast is recording today, and the crew is talking about everything going on with the Xbox FTC trial, Perfect Dark, and more. Write in with your questions and tune in live on Patreon today or on Thursday when the episode posts with ads for everybody on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Casey Andrew, Delaney Twining, and James Hastings. Today we're brought to you by BetterHelp, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 7 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
We start with the big one, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1, Microsoft explored buying Sega, Bungie, and IO Interactive. This is Tom Ivan at VGC. Microsoft has explored the possibility of acquiring Sega, Bungie, and IO Interactive in recent years. In November 2020, Xbox boss Phil Spencer emailed Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella and said to the company's CFO Amy Hood, requesting approval to approach Sega Sammy with a view to acquiring its game studios. Quote, "We believe that Sega has built a well-balanced portfolio of games across segments with global geographic appeal and will help us accelerate Xbox Game Pass both on and off console," he wrote of the Japanese company in an email seen by The Verge. Spencer added, quote, "Sega is the most attractive next acquisition target due to its global PC catalog, presence on mobile in Asia, and global brand affinity on consoles through its classic IP," end quote. The message was included in internal documents from Microsoft's ongoing case against the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, which is seeking to block the Xbox maker's proposed $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. While it's unclear how Nadella responded to Spencer's requests, Sega was also listed on an quote-unquote M&A, that's a merger and acquisition, final watch list document from April 2021. Bungie, which was later acquired by PlayStation maker Sony, and Zynga, which would go on to merge with Rockstar owner Take-Two in the games industry's biggest ever completed deal, also appeared on the watch list. So too did Hitman maker IO Interactive, Hades developer Supergiant Games, and Pokemon Go studio Niantic. Also under consideration were Thunderful, Playrix, and Scopely. Goddamn, man. We're coming after everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot going on here. I think some relevant information to bring into, of course, all of this is coming out in the wake of the FTC trial going on right now with Xbox, where as of this morning, they were interviewing, or I believe they were playing an interview of Jim Ryan to then, be not public, but within the courtrooms, right, for the deposition. And yeah, there's been a lot of fascinating stuff arising from this. One of the things, Shannon Lau, who's been helping report this, mentions that there have been some explosive documents coming out from the FTC versus Microsoft trial as they've been uploaded. Matt Booty says Microsoft could, quote, spend Sony out of business in a 2019 email. And we have the email here with Matt Booty is writing to Tim Stewart and says, a different view to the general view below might be that we, Microsoft, are in a very unique position to be able to go spend Sony out of business. If we think that video game content matters in 10 years, we might look back and say, quote, totally, would have been worth it to lose $2 billion or $3 billion in 2020 to avoid a situation where Tencent, Google, Amazon, or even Sony have become the Disney of games and own most of the valuable content. For example, it is practically impossible for anyone to start a new video streaming service at scale at this point. What content do you base it on? Things like Hulu and CBS All Access will be trivial players in the space. In games, Google is 3 to 4 years away from being able to have a studio up and running. Amazon has shown no ability to execute on game content. Content is the one moat that we have in terms of a catalog that runs on current devices and the capability to create new. Sony is really the only other player who could compete with Game Pass, and we have a 2-year and 10 million subs lead. If we reverse course on day and date, it's going to be hard to convince folks that things like Mixer or xCloud have much of a chance of surviving scrutiny either. So what this
damning email.
Yeah.
That it really was one that got passed around, written up, talked a lot about this thing, because of course this whole thing is, well, we want to block this merger because you'd use it to put Sony out of business. Like, no, we wouldn't. We'd share everything. And PlayStation's like, we wouldn't be comfortable giving you PlayStation 6 information activation. We wouldn't do that kind of thing. And then you get the spend out of business thing. It is worth pointing out Microsoft has responded to that email, though, in the court thing. Tom Warren at The Verge says, Microsoft argues the email is old and it never pursued such a strategy anyway. Quote, this email is 3.5 years old and predates the announcement of our acquisition by 25 months, says David Cuddy, general manager of public affairs at Microsoft, in a statement to The Verge. Quote, it refers to industry trends we never pursued and is unrelated to the acquisition. The internal exchange was also sealed as part of a separate so-called gamers lawsuit recently.
It was sealed and they never pursued it, and it was old?
Yeah, the
old it was from 2019, and they bought Activision Blizzard.
The email is part of the
threat. And they try to buy
even closer to that email, they bought Bethesda.
And they wanted to buy Sega, Bungie, and IO Interactive.
The email is part of a thread discussing Xbox Game Pass and the rest of the chain redacted, but it looks like Microsoft is considering reversing the idea of day-to-day releases of its own games on Xbox Game Pass in 2019. Jesus. Something Booty wasn't happy about, which you heard in the email there, but again, it was. If we reverse course on day and date, it's going to be hard to convince folks that things like Mixer or xCloud have much of a chance of surviving scrutiny either.
A lot of this is so fascinating. I think
it's such dirty laundry. Like that one thing of like, oh, can you imagine like any stupid email or Slack we've ever done if you fucking sued us? Blessing, I swear to God, don't you fucking sue it.
I would never do that. 4 years from now, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like all that stupid shit. You like, you think you're having a private conversation, and now it's on blast, and it's like. Yeah, it is from a different time, obviously, 4 years ago or whatever the strategy was and where you're going. But like to say, yeah, we could spend them out of business. And the whole thing here is like, you could spend us out of business by buying all these things and making them exclusive.
It feels like they're in the process of spending them out of business, right? And out of business trying to, right? Like, I don't think PlayStation's going anywhere, right? I don't think Xbox is about to shut down PlayStation by buying Call of Duty. But I think the idea is there, right? And I think the fascinating thing here is thinking about the reality where Microsoft did buy Sega, or Microsoft did buy Bungie, or Microsoft did buy IO Interactive, and how things would have shifted, right? Like, you're talking about Sega being a company that has games that are very popular on other platforms. You're talking about things like Persona. You're talking about maybe being able to acquire a new mascot in Sonic, right? And that being able to be the face of Microsoft, which would be such a weird reality to live in, but like they will put that to use. Hey, we have this thing that is very recognizable, an IP that does well multimedia wise, right? Not just in video games. I think that would be such an interesting scenario. IO Interactive being another studio that's very talented, right? Like they're not Sega, they're not Bethesda or anything, right? But that is a studio that does quality work, that has 100%. Had pretty consistent output in terms of the Hitman franchise and how well received those have been. It's increasingly so over the years. They have and we're going to get into this in the next story, but they have the fantasy game that they're working on that they just announced that is rumored and seemingly confirmed based on these documents to be exclusive with Microsoft. Yeah, like what if those conversations went further and it was, oh, your James Bond game is also exclusive here.
Yeah.
On top of something like Indiana Jones from Machine Games. Like, that's what Microsoft's trying to build here. They're trying to build a stable of IP and a stable of studios to compete with anybody else who even wants to try to touch them. And the money is speaking. I think that's the fascinating thing is PlayStation has been competing with, hey, we have years and years of established studios that know what they're doing. We have a flow. We have a first-party output that is working for us really well. And then also we get our exclusives like Final Fantasy and Persona and stuff. Whereas Microsoft has the money. Like, they can make it rain all these different studios and publishers, and just straight out buy them, right? And be able to buy that power. And, as with all of this, right? So much of it is speculation, but man, 5 to 10 years from now, it's going to be really interesting to see how the cards lie and, how we compare the two or pit the two against each other in terms of how they, like, what their space or, I guess, place is, their placement is in the industry.
Yeah. It's a crazy one of what they're going through right now, what this is, to see the dirty laundry aired, to see Pete Hines being cross-examined and all this information. I can not even see. I'm of course looking through the lens of one Rebecca Valentine, who does an amazing job of updating us from the courthouse floor there and all that stuff. But the chat over there is popping off with like the fact of all the stupid shit PlayStation does, of course, right? Of like, well, yeah, but like they're the ones who block crossplay. They're the ones who do. Of course, they're of course buying studios as well, and it's like. It is such a how do you stop someone from doing the thing you're doing. It is the Spider-Man meme of everybody pointing at each other. And it is this idea, oh, great job here with all the stuff going on. Rebecca right now live from the courtroom. Where is this trial? Do you know?
It's in San Francisco.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Rebecca, I was talking to Rebecca earlier about how she needs to go. She arrives there at like 6 a.m.
Yeah, I saw it. It was that thing where I think, was that Friday the first day? No, it must have been Thursday.
I think it was earlier than that.
Doesn't matter. Whatever. The first day when it was popping off, I wasn't at work yet. And so I was looking at it and I was seeing it and I was like, is this New York? Where is she? And then you said she, brought a pie to you this weekend. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then I saw her doing it again. I'm like, wait, this has got to be here, right? Yeah. This can't be like she's shooting back and forth.
And like somewhere in here, there was, because of Jim Ryan's thing today, right? I think he mentioned that Call of Duty, he viewed Call of Duty exclusivity as like anti-competition or something like that, right? Like for people in chat that are going back and forth about PlayStation does this, Xbox does this, nobody's in the right here, right? These are just big companies arguing about like
these are big companies arguing to stop the other big company from doing something that the first big company would love to.
Yeah, there's not a hero or villain in this situation, right? It's just capitalism at work.
It's two
big companies doing business, and so like this isn't us like rooting against anybody. It's just very fun and fascinating to look at just based on all the messy laundry that's coming out. Because as a third party that like doesn't have any stake in play, I know I'm wearing a PlayStation shirt, right? But like that's because we like video games. As somebody has
specifically PlayStation ones because they're better.
I mean, I am looking forward to Starfield. That might be my second game of the year. Zelda, you know what I mean? Starfield's looking so good. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But as people who don't have any stake in PlayStation or Xbox, I'm just sitting here reading the timeline, reading Rebecca Valentine's tweets and nodding along like, yeah, give me all the shit. Give me all the fucking dirty laundry. I want to read it all because it's really interesting stuff.
100%. Yeah, to see how they do this. Cozy Bear writes in with a question, just like you can. An interesting question. To kindafunny.com/KFGD. And says, court documents have revealed that Microsoft was strongly considering acquiring Sega, and that if the acquisition had gone through, it would have still continued releasing Sega's games on other platforms. From my perspective, Microsoft making Bethesda titles like Indiana Jones and Starfield Xbox exclusive, while allowing the likes of Sonic, Yakuza, and Persona to remain platform agnostic seems a little arbitrary. From your perspective, why do you think Microsoft was prepared to go this route with Sega's IPs?
I think it has to do with the install base and how many people are going to show up for something like Sonic or Yakuza or Persona on a PlayStation platform, and you still want to make that money, right? Like, for me, it goes back to Phil Spencer's comment on the XCast where he said, we can do whatever, but we're not going to get people to sell their PlayStations and just start buying Xboxes. I think putting a game like the next Persona game on Xbox exclusive, sure, like that might gain you some ground, that might gain you some converts, but I think on the pure dollars and cents side of things, it benefits you way more likely to put that game out on PlayStation and on Xbox, right? And wherever you can, just so you're able to maintain that audience and get that money. Whereas something like Starfield, I think there is a bit of, oh no, this is a juggernaut that this helps us gain ground, right? This is the thing that people will pick up Xboxes for. Something like Call of Duty, I think is too much of there's so much money being made on all platforms that we got to stick with this on all platforms. I think it is, you look at each game case by case and go, what makes sense for this title? And I could see what makes sense for things like Starfield or Indiana Jones to be exclusive. Whereas I can totally understand the argument for Persona of, no, we should keep this on PlayStation because this sells X amount of units versus this is going to sell so many less millions if we put this on Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, you nail it. It comes down to units sold and what units will sell. I think that as much as we can all sit here and, especially this, me, Barrett right now, right, talk about how much we love Sonic, Yakuza, and Persona series, those aren't juggernauts, like you're saying. Yep. Those aren't blockbusters where people will follow. Those are games that are going to sell to their audience, their fan base. And I think that if you were to cut it off and be like, all right, well, we're just putting on Xbox, you are going to lose hundreds of thousands of sales of those games, which then fuck up the math on what's going on and how much you're making. Why'd you buy them if you're not going to be able to turn a profit on them, right? I think it behooves Sonic to be everywhere, to have that available to everybody, because even though Sonic is a well-known IP, Sonic fans are a different thing, and there aren't as many as you might think there are. And he's a well-known character and a well-known IP, but are they rushing out to buy games? Are they so excited for Sonic Forces?
As much as
Sonic Heroes, Sonic
Frontiers.
Wait,
as much as
what's the next one? The next one's coming.
Oh, Sonic Superstars. Yeah. As much as I love Sonic, I'm not. If I was somebody who only had a PlayStation, right, and I didn't have an Xbox, I don't think I would pick up an Xbox because they got the exclusivity on Sonic, right? I guess I'd just be like, all right, cool. I guess I'm not playing the next Sonic.
And to your point about Call of Duty, I think it's you're right on the numbers as well there, right? Of like, I think the people who only have an Xbox to play Call of Duty, I'm sorry, if they only have a PlayStation to play Call of Duty, if Xbox goes through on this merger, they're like, guess what? Call of Duty's exclusive here. I think those people on PlayStation who only bought the PlayStation plan, they're like, wow, I bought this fucking thing for that, and now they're doing that. Well, I don't even care. I'll either find another shooter, or I'll continue to play the one Call of Duty that's still here. Like, there's a whole bunch of
and like
that gets going.
It's a live game too. Like how much money is being made through having a wide player base and being able to sell battle passes, sell whatever. They don't sell Call of Duty maps anymore. Like I don't know what the strategy is anymore with Call of Duty because I've been so out of the loop. But I know with Warzone, right? There's so much money to be made there through skins and the cosmetics and all these things.
And so then you jump over to the Bethesda side of the coin here, and specifically Starfield and Indiana Jones, right? Starfield is a game that is going to do huge numbers. That is going to be a game that takes over our industry, the nerd industry. I think if you were somebody who was on the fence, you've only owned a PlayStation, you've only owned a Switch or something, but you listen to Kind of Funny Games Daily and all this stuff, I think that is a game you'll buy. If it comes together the way it's supposed to, you'll buy for. Indiana Jones is a game that you're going to see during the NBA Finals. You're going to see that on the Today Show. You're going to see, like, they're going to make a push for that, and that is going to be a premier blockbuster. Look at the fact that this IP you love, mainstream, everybody, is also a video game, and now you can play it only on Xbox, and I think that's the same thing there.
Yeah. I think there's that IP power that Indiana Jones has, and that Bethesda games have in general, right? Like I think you can do that with Bethesda games because there might be more of an install base on the Xbox platform than something like Persona, because Persona has been historically exclusive, right? Or something like Sonic, because Sonic has been, everywhere for so long. Whereas I think something like Doom, something like Wolfenstein, pretty much any of the Bethesda IPs moving forward, I can understand a case for those being exclusive because those are big games. But like Starfield is a juggernaut, and like that's a game studio's game is gonna be a juggernaut, and then everything kind of falls underneath that in terms of like popularity and sales and all that stuff. But like they're in that range of, okay, if this sells, let's say 8 million or 10 million, like this might make more sense just to keep it as an exclusive, so we can make the argument for Game Pass and make the argument for Xbox the console. Whereas Starfield, and like same with Starfield, honestly, like if this is gonna sell 15 to 20 million on our platform, have this be the flag that we put down as, hey, this is the tentpole. Like, this is the game you're coming here for. Whereas, yeah, like Call of Duty is going to sell tens of millions of copies, and you're going to want that to be everywhere where it can sell.
Let's make a jump to number 2 because we're still in the same vein, and this is, it looks like IO's I'm going to try it again. It looks like IO Interactive's fantasy RPG is an Xbox exclusive. This is Andy Robinson at VGC. If you're paying attention at home, VGC, 2 for 2 right now.
2.
And none of that bum Jordan Middler, which I'm always happy to keep out, you know?
I mean, he's probably busy reviewing 10 games right now.
Andy writes, an upcoming original IP from Hitman studio IO Interactive could be an Xbox console exclusive. That's according to internal Microsoft documents shared as part of an ongoing FTC versus Microsoft trial over the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The documents, spotted by IGN, which assess IO as a potential acquisition target, listed as working on Project Dragon, an RPG shooter for PC and Xbox Series X/S. Xbox Game Studios is listed as the publisher for the title. In April 2021, Windows Central first claimed that IO had teamed up with Microsoft to work on a new Dragon-themed IP, which the platform holder was expected to publish as a first-party Xbox exclusive. Then, this February, IO itself confirmed that it's working on an online fantasy RPG. While unconfirmed, this is likely to be the same project mentioned in the Microsoft documents. Quote, "We are building a new world, a new IP, an online fantasy RPG," the company said. "A world and a game built from the core to entertain players and expand for many years to come," end quote. That's some gravitas right there.
Oh, yeah.
This was built from the core to entertain players.
I want Morgan Freeman to do the narration on this on the intro of the game. Receded. I want this game to be so good. I love IO Interactive so much as a studio, and I was thinking about this morning of how different this sounds than Hitman. And
Dragon shooter IP.
And even what we see with so many studios nowadays of, man, NetherRealm is so good, even between having multiple different IPs. But also Injustice and Mortal Kombat are so similar in the grand scheme, right? Naughty Dog, same thing with Last was Uncharted in the grand scheme, right? There's so many differences, but also you can see the similarities there. And that list goes in terms of the Insomniac between Ratchet and Spider-Man and the similarities there. This is so different from Hitman that I get a little bit worried about, are you going to between this and James Bond, are you stretching yourselves thin between what you can do? Not to bottle in a studio into one thing, right? But I just say that to hope that this game is good, because it's so hard for me to visualize off the bat what a fantasy dragon online RPG looks like from IO Interactive.
Well, imagine if Lair and Scalebound had a baby online.
I mean, I did want Scalebound. I bought an Xbox for Scalebound and never got
Didn't pan out for you.
I also got it for Rare Replay. That did pan out.
That did pan out.
Got to play Jeff for Gemini for the 18th time.
Yeah, IO Interactive is such an awesome story in video games, right? They make these Hitman games. They have a fan base behind them. They every time seem to do the right thing for players, whether it be, expanding the game, putting stuff together, blah, blah, blah. Then, of course, Square dumps them, right? But they let them take the Hitman IP with them, which is awesome. And then they're out and they're on their own. And then they get this James Bond license. They're working on this thing. I'm incredibly excited about their future. I hope that they're a well-funded studio that is being taken care of. And of course, we always go back to, this is a conversation I think from Super Chats and one of the post shows we did recently with Mike of they're an independent studio, even though this game would be published by Microsoft, right? And this is the dollars and cents of video games. You have the developer and then you have the publisher. The publisher is writing the check to keep the developer in business while they work on the game, hoping then to make the profit. Not every time, deals are different, but reap the rewards when the game is released and it's awesome and it makes a lot of money and it becomes a huge hit.
Yeah.
Or take a big giant fucking loss.
I mean, that's the version of IO we're seeing operate right now, right? IO leaving Square Enix, they were already they'd done Hitman 1. I forget where in the process they were at Hitman 2. I feel like that was in the Hitman 2 era of IO where we saw them get let go. I think maybe a little bit before that game. But, they were already making Hitman. And Hitman 1, 2, and 3 are all working off of the same systems, right? That is practically a live game, even though they put it out in different iterations.
And again, we talk about all the time from our PlayStation side, the 12 live services, and we're like, oh god, I hope they're not all shooters. No, it's just surprised they were all shooters. But I was like, there's ways to interact, put live services stuff into games you love. Hitman's a great
nailed
example,
it.
right? Of like, cool, like when they launched that, and I think they do it to this day, but like when they launched that, we got approached to do the Kind of Funny challenge, and there was the Spawn on Me challenge, and I think there was a mid-match. Like, hey, we're putting these things out there. If you like this single player game, if you like this sandbox we give you, there's new ways to play every day of how to go through.
Yeah,
and do this.
and to your point of this is what video game development is, and independent video game development in terms of wanting to fund your thing and keep alive as a company. IO has been expanding. There have been news stories in the last couple years of them opening up new studios in different locations and stuff to expand and keep up with everything. And then also, the point I'm making too is that James Bond and this fantasy game are the first that we're seeing IO take their own swings that aren't Hitman, right? Hitman, I think, was sort of a product of Square Enix and their involvement within all that, and IO took that and made it their own thing. But yeah, this Dragon game and James Bond, those are deals that they made independently. I guess we're starting to see them chart their own path and define what their thing is as a studio and as a company, and I hope that goes well because we've not seen that side of IO yet. 100%. And I could see a thing of, oh man, this turns out like Telltale where they took on too much and all of a sudden it balloons and they're not able to keep up with the demand. But they are a talented studio, and so I really hope that I think I could see ways in which that talent translates to James Bond. I could see ways in which, oh yeah, we're expanding because we want to make this online fantasy game and have it being published by Microsoft. Those are two huge deals to have.
Totally.
And that's great because they're such a talented studio and they deserve that. But yeah, I just hope that they're able to keep that momentum and we don't see dips because, we had to make these moves to keep up with the financial demands and all of a sudden everything topples down.
Doubling back, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because we've gone long on 2 stories of 7.
Yeah.
But in this conversation about IO, almost being bought, this game being exclusive, one of the things that was a footnote in story 1 that we went back and passed or whatever that I doubled back to is I would love to be a fly on the wall at Supergiant. How many times have they been approached by Xbox, PlayStation?
Can you imagine?
They are Supergiant is one of I don't want to insult anybody. They are a crown jewel of independent game development, right?
Yeah.
They are one of the top independent game developers out there, right? You're talking about Hades now, Hades 2, but even before that, Bastion, the list goes on.
Dude, if I was to do a power ranking of independent developers right now in 2023, I think they might be number 1.
And so I would love to know how often they're approached, why they don't. I mean, just just sit down with Greg Kassav and have a beer off the record and really just I hope they're killing it. They seem to be killing it. That's fucking awesome. Continue killing it. The Epic deal must have been great for them with Hades, you hope, right? But it's awesome that they haven't done it. They just get to make the games they want to make, and that's all they have to worry about.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is they get to make the games they want to make, and that means that, hey, we want to make Hades 2 and make it a thing and announce it at the Game Awards. I don't think they need a Microsoft or a PlayStation or anybody to buy them. Sure, that might come with more money and maybe that might alleviate some responsibility off of the lead.
That's always what it comes down to, right? Is sometimes it's the money, obviously. You're doing fine on money, but it's the idea of oh, cool, we don't have to worry about HR anymore. We don't have to worry about getting everybody paid in ADP and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, but I can see the value of, hey, we get to do whatever the fuck we want.
Sure.
And now that we have Hades, we have this thing that sold so well and so much resources to work with. I'm sure they're probably a hard buy. It's probably difficult to approach them and ask them to give them all up. You probably have to lay down the bag in order to get them. Which Microsoft, I feel like they would do. They want to buy Sony out of business. So who knows?
This would be one way to do it.
Yeah.
That was a strategy 4 years ago.
4 years ago. It's
sure, they're not doing that now.
Lifetime ago. Remember, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Supergiant's awesome because they're independent. We're independent just like them because of your support on patreon.com/kindafunny. Over on patreon.com/kindafunny, you can get each and every episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily ad-free. You can get the other podcasts live as we record them a day early and ad-free. Of course, you can get them on demand ad-free. You could get literally hundreds of exclusive episodes of Kinda Feudy, the Next Gen podcast, Greg Way, only on patreon.com/kindafunny. But since you're not there right now, here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. I know this from experience, how often it just seems easier to care about others and to keep it moving. But When we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burnt out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my very best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
Number 3 on the Roper Report, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is already the second best-selling game of 2023. This is Wesley LeBlanc over at Game Informer. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the ambitious follow-up to 2017's Breath of the Wild, finally hit Switch last month. We've now learned, thanks to video game analyst group, Circana, that's how we say it now?
Yeah,
I miss that PD. That it was, unsurprisingly, the best-selling game of the month. However, it's also already the second best-selling game of 2023 behind Hogwarts Legacy. Right. That was this year.
Yep, that was
what
February.
What a fucking long year we are in. What's even more impressive is that Circana's Tears of the Kingdom numbers do not include digital sales of the game, only physical, according to Circana Executive Director Matt Piscatella, friend of the show. It's the second best-selling game of 2023 on just its physical numbers alone means the game sold exceptionally well. And there's a good chance it might be the year's best-selling game if digital numbers are one day added. Here's a look at the top 10 best-selling games of May 2023. Number 1, Tears of the Kingdom. Number 2, Hogwarts Legacy. Number 3, Jedi Survivor. Number 4, Dead Island 2. Number 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Number 6, MLB The Show 23. Number 7, FIFA 23. Number 8, Mario Kart 8. Number 9, Resident Evil 4 Remake. And number 10, Far Cry 6. Top 10 best-selling games of 2023 so far go. Number 1, Hogwarts Legacy. Number 2, Tears of the Kingdom. Number 3, Modern Warfare 2. Number 4, Jedi Survivor. Number 5, RE4 Remake. Number 6, MLB The Show 23. Number 7, Dead Island 2. Hell yeah. Number 8, FIFA 23. Number 9, Dead Space 2023, of course. And number 10, Madden NFL 23. Unsurprisingly, given how well Tears of the Kingdom sold last month, Nintendo's Switch hardware was the best-selling platform in unit and dollar sales last month. May 2023 was the Switch's best-selling May of its lifetime thus far, and it was also Nintendo's second-best May month for hardware spending, second behind May 2020. However, Sony's PlayStation 5 console leads the overall 2023 hardware market in terms of unit and dollar sales.
Interesting.
Woo.
I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that sticks out to me is the top 10 best-selling games for May 2023. I know for a fact, and I understand for a fact how well-selling Hogwarts Legacy is. Yeah. But for it to overtake Jedi Survivor in May, when Jedi Survivor came out at the end of April, Hogwarts Legacy came out in February. That's insane.
Huh?
That's wild. That game is selling like crazy.
It goes to show what you do. I mean, you give, a fan base, a rabid fan base, the opportunity to live their dream in a game.
Like Star Wars.
Sure, but
they're rabid.
Star Wars game, we get so many that are already so great. Like Hogwarts, you have this adage that I really appreciate of like, when you see a game break through into your TikTok, it's something special. Mm-hmm. And when it was that my TikTok algorithm started serving me all the people who were like the girlfriend using her boyfriend's PS5 for the first time to play Hogwarts, the brother getting dropped off, coming out of GameStop with his PS5 in Hogwarts. It was like people who had but weren't video gamers, right? Were suddenly like, this is the one. I gotta go play this game. I gotta get a copy of this game. I gotta be a part of this. I gotta go be a wizard.
Because also, like, the last time I think a Harry Potter game came out was probably when they were doing the movie tie-in games, which was like fucking 12 years ago or something at this point, right? So, and we're Star Wars. We have everything Star Wars all the fucking time for the last 8 years.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And again, and I know that was actually...
and like you have like they're both games where you get to go play through a story, but it seems that Hogwarts is way more like kind of explorable and kind of like very focused on being at Hogwarts. Or Star Wars, it's like you're jumping to places that you've seen before, and like you get to hang out in Coruscant, and then there's like different planets, new planets that aren't like as familiar. Whereas like Hogwarts, you have like that one specific place that people have wanted to go to, whereas Star Wars is such a big fucking universe, right?
Yeah, which like I totally understand at the end of the day how Hogwarts is going to outsell Jedi Survivor. It's just the fact that for the month of May, when Jedi came out in April, like end of April,
that it's still moving.
That
units.
like Hogwarts still moving enough units to outsell Jedi in that month alone is insane to me. But yeah, I totally understand the fact that it's been forever since a Harry Potter game. We're not getting like Harry Potter movies at like a big cadence, right? And so like or like a TV show or anything. And so for the fact that this is a like. Bear, I don't know if you know, but like, are there Harry Potter books that are still coming out? I'm so out of the loop with
maybe like
Wizarding World.
I don't know,
but yeah, like this being one of the few pieces of Harry Potter media that you're getting on this level is what I'll say, right? Like, I totally understand how everybody's showing up for that. Everybody is like, oh man, finally I get to explore and hang out in this world again. But yeah, those sales numbers are wild. I'm so curious, and I can't wait to see end of year sales numbers just for everything to see like where Hogwarts stands up to Zelda. Stands up to Call of Duty even.
It'll be interesting if Nintendo, who historically doesn't release their digital numbers, do release digital numbers to really drive home the fact that
I think they do in those like quarterly reports where they talk about Switch sales and like the final software sales. So I'm sure we'll see whenever the end of the fiscal quarter is.
Sounds good. Speaking of Nintendo, number 4 on the Roper Report, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa says their next console will use the same Nintendo account. Oh my God. What year is it, Nintendo? Getting with it? This is Cam over at Go Nintendo. Nintendo has just published a transcript of the Q&A portion of their latest shareholders meeting, and an interesting tidbit about Nintendo's next-gen console was shared. As noticed by Twitter user Genki, it looks like Nintendo still plans on using the same Nintendo account system for their next platform. Nintendo President Furukawa thinks that keeping their current account system will allow for a smooth transition to next-gen, whenever that transition may be. We don't know when we'll see the next Nintendo platform, but we do know it's on Nintendo's mind.
I'll believe when I see it.
Good. Whatever.
Yeah. Good. Me and Tim were just having this back and forth recently where I think he was talking about games and your stuff carrying over to the next Nintendo platform. And I forget what side I was on, but like I could see a scenario where Nintendo's like, nah, man, we're starting over. Like, you're going to have to buy everything again because they're Nintendo and they do weird shit.
Yeah, Nintendo is known for doing those weird Nintendo decisions. Put up your WNDs in the chat here on Twitch. But yeah, we will see what they do. And I don't know, man. It's the same thing as always. Like, when is the Switch 2 coming? When's the Super Switch coming? But like,
it's got to be next year.
Guess what they just fucking crushed? You know what I mean? Circana's numbers are insane,
this last May was the best-selling May for Switch, which is insane.
Yeah.
But also, that's what Tears of the Kingdom.
Of course. Everybody bought a special edition. Number 5. CD Projekt reflects on Cyberpunk's launch. Quote, it became cool to dislike it. This is Tom Ivan at VGC. That's right. 3 out of 5 stories, VGC. It's VGC, Daily. But where the hell's Jordan Midler? Everybody keeps asking.
And he's reviewing all those video games.
He better be. Reflecting on Cyberpunk 2077's troubled launch, CD Projekt's comm boss has argued that the game received some overly harsh criticism when it first released. While acknowledging that the game needed to be improved when it first arrived in 2020, Michael Platkow-Gilwinski told GamesIndustry.biz he believes it deserved a better reception than the one it received, and suggesting that some people jumped on the bandwagon to criticize because it was fashionable to do so. I will tell you right from the jump, I do not like how you paint yourself in a corner here, Michael. I would not do this, Michael.
He's doing it.
Quote, I actually believe Cyberpunk on launch was better than it was received, and even the first reviews were positive, he said. Then it became a cool thing not to like it. We went from hero to zero really fast. That was the tough moment. We didn't know what was happening. We knew the game is great. Yes, we can improve it. Yes, we need to take time to do it, and we need to rebuild some stuff. That took us a lot of time, but I don't believe we were ever broken. We were always like, let's do this, end quote. Cyberpunk 2077 was one of the most highly anticipated games of the last console generation, but things went badly wrong for CD Projekt when it finally arrived in late 2020. After 3 delays, the highly anticipated RPG released for PC and consoles with a host of technical problems, resulting in refunds being offered, the game being pulled from the PlayStation Store, and CD Projekt facing lawsuits alleging it misled investors over the quality of the title. For Michael, whose job it was to oversee studio contact with players, media, and influencers, he hopes the DLC will go some way to rebuilding the trust that has been lost with some of the company's fans. Quote, I was personally not happy with how things turned out. I was not expecting that, he said. I knew immediately that we had to come back. I liked the spot we were in. I'm not talking about the peak of hype, but 2 years before that, we had our community. We liked them. They liked us. It was awesome to work at CD Projekt Red. After the release, it was tough, but I knew that we had the same people. The gamers are the same. We just need to fix our relationship. The only thing we can truly do is just deliver what we are capable of. I have a feeling that soon we will be able to do that, and hopefully that will be a new beginning for everyone, end quote.
What do you think possessed this guy to say this? You're doing so well.
You know, I don't know.
Do you think he was like, all right, we've gained enough goodwill. I can finally speak my truth.
I can gaslight everybody into thinking that this game was actually good at launch.
Like, he's been holding this in for years, and now that people like Cyberpunk, he's like,
when the
I can
games
say it.
were so bad on console that
Sony was like, we're gonna unrelease this
store, and we had it reviewed well. Yeah, it reviewed well because your reviewers were playing it on PC and happened to be given a build that weren't as fucking buggy. I mean, our reviewer here got a lot of dildos in his playthrough.
It was also a lot of bugs too.
A lot of bugs. But then also, y'all kept hyping up the promise that this was going to be the big next gen thing that was going to push the boundaries of RPGs, especially in the Western take of an RPG. And it was a fucking first person GTA with some light, kind of dishonored kind of takes with combat and being able to be sneak or just go guns blazing and stuff.
Mm-hmm. See,
what are you talking about, man?
It's funny because from the headline, I could have been with them, right? Like, it became cool to hate on Cyberpunk, or it became cool to dislike it.
It definitely became the punching bag, the easy punchline, the low hanging fruit.
And I'm there a little bit. I remember, because I liked that game, when I played it at the end of the day, right? A lot of bugs, a lot some parts in terms of how much Cyberpunk attitude was in there and how cheesy some of it was that I didn't vibe with as much. But at the end of the day, as a Western RPG, I came out of it liking it, and that was even at launch, and that's with all the bugs and all this stuff, right? Over the years, as they've cleaned it up, it's been really great to see that they've really gone in and improved it and all that stuff. And so I'm in what, the let's say the March after that game came out, there are conversations that I would have loved to have in terms of oh yeah, but when you look behind all that shit, how fun is it as an RPG, right? That you couldn't have on the internet because everybody was so focused on hating on the game and shutting it down, right? Yeah. I can agree with that idea, but it was still a mess.
The two things that stand out for me from the quotes are I actually believe Cyberpunk on launch was way better than it was received.
Absolutely not.
Come on.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? If you would have said better,
if you
and then I love this one of that was a tough moment. We didn't know what was happening as they went from hero to zero. Yeah, you did.
If you were to
the
say
current console couldn't run the fucking game, and then because I'm with you of there's this actually really interesting dialogue and criticism to have of Cyberpunk, but it gets marred because it not working for PlayStation 4 players and being really broken and yada yada yada. It takes up all the oxygen in the room. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think if we could take that out and just talk about it, I played on PlayStation 5, right? And my thought playing it was I platinumed it. I really enjoyed Cyberpunk. It never got to that, oh my God, what a fucking experience.
Game of the generation.
Exactly. Which is where we had all been, that's what expectations had been set from these behind closed doors, E3 demos, yada, yada, yada. And so it's a weird one to reflect back on because me, even as a player, I don't think of my own experience. I think of the hullabaloo around it because I think if you remove the hullabaloo and come back to the experience, it was a game I enjoyed playing. I looked like an idiot because I didn't have transmog. I ran around. By the end, I was so powerful at hacking and doing everything. I was just a god by doing, and it's I enjoyed the narrative. I enjoyed Pan Am. I like falling in love with her. Da, da, da. It's there's things in there that I'm very excited for Phantom Liberty. Because it is this idea of I can't wait to see what it looks like and runs like now. And I did enjoy playing it. I'm excited to play this again and get back into a world that I have not touched since launch.
Yeah.
But it is this idea of way better than the reception.
No, because you guys knew that, right? If you were to come out and say people threw the baby out with bathwater, I can understand that, right? And even to everything you're saying of, there's this whole hullabaloo that distracted from the things that the game did good. I liked it because, for me, it was an open world take on the Deus Ex games that I loved so much, right?
Sure.
And I really enjoyed playing this game
Deus Ex,
for
that was the franchise I was looking for, and I blanked on it, so I was Dishonored.
God, and that's I see what you're talking about. Yeah, Deus Ex is like, it's a game that I would say is underrated, right? Like from the last couple talking about human revolution and mankind divided, I fucking love those games. And so playing Cyberpunk, I was like, dude, this is giving me that, but open world and in a different flavor and all this stuff. Hell yeah! But y'all knew that this game wasn't up to par when you put it out. There's a reason why we only got one review code on PC. Right? There's a reason why we didn't see those console launch those console codes. There's a reason why PlayStation unreleased the game. Right? Like there's a reason why. Embargo was so close to even when we got the codes. Like there's so many things wrong.
A lot of red flags.
There's a
lot of red flags about that review period.
That would say that, hey, we understand the state of this thing, but it is what it is. We got to release it. But yeah, don't come out and then say you didn't know or
I
think
it was better. It sucks because, and again, this is a footnote, and I don't know, Michael from a hole in the wall, but it's like I really do feel like the conversation and the tenor and yada yada has changed so much that like people are excited about Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
They're allowed to be, and it's going to be cool. Hopefully, it's going to be great. And like it's been not a No Man's Sky necessarily. Maybe when it launches, it will be of like holy shit, blah blah blah. But like you didn't need to come out here and say this and get caught up in this quote thing. Number 6, let's get you out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We got 2 left. Number 6, Meta is launching a subscription service for Quest games. VGC Games Daily continues with Tom Ivan. Meta is launching a subscription service for Quest games. The subscription service will be available for Quest 2, Quest Pro, and the upcoming Quest 3 headset. Priced at $7.99 per month or $59.99 annually, Meta Quest Plus will give subscribers 2 VR titles on the first day of every month. The service will debut in July with Cloudhead Games' Action Rhythm FPS Pistol Whip and Arvor Immersive Experiences Arcade Adventure Pixel Ripped 1995. In August, subscribers will be offered Mighty Coconuts Walkabout Mini Golf and Terrible Postures Games first-person roguelike Mother Gunship Forge. Cool. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is like Pistol Whip?
Oh,
how many people don't? If you are a VR person, you've entered into MetaQuest, you've been sold on it. Like you've heard about Pistol Whip, and to a lesser extent, I do believe Pixel Ripped. Like, like, oh.
I mean, what else do you want them to
a day and date stuff is what I would think.
Oh,
when I heard this, I thought they were gonna say, oh, like you get 2 games a month. I thought you get to pick. Like, well, you get 2 games a month, and you get a credit. You're paying $7.99 a month, but you're getting $15 in credit to go spend in the store or some shit like that.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I immediately saw this and I was like, oh, they're doing PS Plus.
Yeah, 100%. No, and
which I get why, but
and again, it's just one of those things of it's interesting. Of okay, is that
is that going to move the needle? Is that even where PS Plus? I mean, because this, I imagine that you're not going to have to pay for online still, right? Because online is free for MetaQuest. You would think that, that's not happening. So, do you want to pay the money for 2 free games a month?
Yeah,
on MetaQuest?
The dice roll of what they're going to be and where you're going to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good luck, though. They're doing something. Get people to play VR. Number 7, and final on the Roper Report. Among Us is getting an animated TV show. This is Joe Otterson over at Variety. An Among Us animated series is in the works at CBS Studios. Variety has learned exclusively. The studio, via CBS Animation Productions, has partnered with Innersloth, the independent game studio behind Among Us, to develop the series. Owen Dennis will serve as creator and executive producer on the project under his overall deal with CBS Studios. I fucking love it when we're reading an entertainment story and it's Owen Dennis, that guy with his overall deal for CBS. Sure,
you don't know Owen?
Go get him, Owen.
Oh man, that's my guy. My guy Owen.
Wait, okay. Owen Dennis has been a writer for Infinity Train and Regular Show.
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. No.
See,
put some respect on Owen Dennis.
Put some respect on my guy Owen.
Hey, Barrett, sit your little fucking pretty ass down.
No,
right?
I'm saying
is, why doesn't it say that Owen Dennis, creator of Infinity Train and the Regular shit? Like I'll be like, oh, okay. I don't know those, but I understand that. Because look, down here, we're going to talk about Titmouse in a second. You'll hear all about him.
Whoa, watch your mouth.
Per the official logline, the series is based on the premise of the game, namely, quote, members of your crew have been replaced by an alien shapeshifter intent on causing confusion, sabotaging the ship, and killing everyone. Root out the imposter or fall victim to its murderous designs, end quote. Titmouse, parentheses Big Mouth, Star Trek Lower Decks, will serve as the animation studio for the series. Nailed it. I love Big Mouth. I know what that is. I know what that animation looks like. Let's go.
So you're a big Titmouse fan.
I've been chasing titmouses around the house for years. You know what I mean? Along with Dennis, Forrest Willard, Marcus Bromander, and Carl Nielsen, Carl, I don't know how to say your name, of Inner Sloth will also executive produce, along with a bunch of other people with no things. Some people, no network or streamer is currently attached, but those conversations are said to be ongoing.
Delightful.
Should we try to buy Supergiant Games?
We cannot afford Supergiant Games. Maybe Inner Sloth.
They could afford it. We can't buy Inner Sloth.
Wait, so you think we could buy Supergiant, but we couldn't afford Inner Sloth?
I think they're both really high up there.
I think they're both high up there, but Supergiant has to cost more than Inner Sloth.
See, here's my thing is I don't think they would, because I think the IP of Among Us is so hot. It's in the fucking Knives Out movie. It's in this thing over there.
You know what? Okay, yeah, when I think about it, that's a good point.
Now, don't get me wrong. If you were saying, if I'm doing... Remember The Good Son. If it's the end of The Good Son and I'm hanging over the cliff and I got Supergiant and I got Inner Sloth, not for 1 second am I thinking, see you later, Among Us. I'm pulling Greg 7 back up.
Chat brings up a good point. Greg, how much money have you made from your Ubisoft shares?
Is there a way to look up? Actually, I guess there's not a way to look up how much Inner Sloth is worth, or
no, that's not how it works.
The Supergiant.
Barrett, play my theme song.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Supergiant net worth.
You're gonna have to wait a minute. There,
do companies have net worth or just people? I never know.
No, people. You can't. People don't. No, that's. We got done with that a long time ago.
What? Having a net worth?
Yeah.
Wait, really? Because I have a net worth page that my parents bug me about all the time, and I'm like,
you're like, that ain't accurate.
Yeah, I promise you, I do not.
I love looking at that thing. Like, yeah.
All right, Greg, you ready?
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to your favorite reoccurring Kind of Funny Games Daily segment, Greg's Not Financial Advice, where I tell you what you should have spent your money on. I told you a while back, buy some Ubisoft stock. Kevin said you could buy up to $100 of it and it wouldn't be a conflict of interest because you told that you're doing it as a bid on the show. And I said, great. So I bought 19 shares of Ubisoft, and let me tell you, I bought them at $533. Right now, they're at $550. So I'm still sitting pretty. And I assure you, eventually Ubisoft's going to put out a game. And when they do, it will probably review good enough to go, and go up that way. So, just a heads up, it's not too late.
I'm pretty sure
if you wanted to buy some Ubisoft stock right now, it might still work for you.
I feel like Skull and Bones might be up next on the slate. I don't know about that.
Blessing, I'm excited to see how much money I'm going to make and if I can, off the 19 shares of Ubisoft I have, send Ben to college. But that's so far away. If I wanted something more immediate, say what came to the mom and grub shops, where would I go?
You're going to buy a coffee with the Ubisoft money that you make.
Fair enough.
Get Wendy's coffee. You're going to go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed single player is on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life is on PS5, all the Xboxes, Switch, and PC. Shogun Showdown Early Access is on PC. Sludge Life 2 is on PC. Bombing 2, A Graffiti Paradise is on PC. Charade Maniacs is on Switch. Little Friends Puppy Island is on PC and Switch. Moonshine Incorporated is on all the PlayStations and all the Xboxes. And then Valkyrian Arc, A Hero School Story 2 is on all the Xboxes, all the PlayStations, and Switch. New dates for you. Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to theaters and Peacock October 27th. Goddamn. Pixel Junk Scrappers Deluxe launches July 27th on Switch, all the PlayStations, and PC. Fort Solis launches August 22nd on PS5 and PC. And then Slay the Spire arrives on Apple Arcade July 7th. Ridiculous Fishing comes to the service on July 14th, and Stardew Valley comes to Apple Arcade on July 21st. Deals of the day for you. Remember, we are closing down our Rooster Teeth store, which means you have to go buy all of it, or we will have to say this the rest of our effing lives. So go to roosterteeth.com, go to the store, find the Kind of Funny page, and say, hey, it's Joey's half birthday, which means you get 25% off everything on the store with the code Christmas in June. While we do the post show, I'm going to make a link. And it's going to be kindoffunny.com/Christmas old store, and it'll take you to this page.
Smart.
Because remember, now there's kindoffunny.com/store to take you to the new store.
And kindoffunny.com/contact
Nope,
us,
we're not making that
which
one.
will take you to the old website.
Jake Oz needs help squatting up, ladies and gentlemen. This is IRL. You can find Jake on Twitter at Jake Oz, JAKEOZ 184. So RTX is next weekend, and I would love to get together with some fellow Kinda Funny best friends. Maybe we could do a group lunch or dinner, or just meet out for drinks and shenanigans. Either way, it would be my pleasure to organize something for us all to get together, as long as there's not something already planned or in the works that I'd be interrupting. If you're interested, DM me either on Twitter at JakeOz184 or Instagram at JakeOsburn18, OSBURN18. Snowbike Mike and Joey are also more than welcome to join if they want to hang with the Trogs for a night. Looking forward to hearing from you all, Jake. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to RTX, yes, make sure you find Snowbike Mike and Joey. They are there. They are on panels. They are having a good time. I'm sure they will be out and about, but also hit up Jake Osborne or Jake Osburn if you want to go party with him.
Stay safe, Jake. There's a whole battle of the Jakes going on in our audience.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah, I could see them being at RTX to try and take each other out.
I don't like that one bit.
Stay away from Jake Bakes Cakes.
Okay. We have no You're Wrongs today, so that's pretty dope. So I just get to tell you, of course, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you the nerdy video game news need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show by writing in for free over at kindafunny.com/KFGD. Watch us record the show live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. And of course, you can get a show later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, please like, subscribe, share, report it, do the thing, leave a review. And remember to go to patreon.com/kindafunny. You came out in the wide shot and put your drink down. Like, they know you're here. Patreon.com/kindafunny. You can get each and every episode of Games Daily ad-free. Of course, you can get a bevy of bonus episodes. You can get exclusive merch and so much more. But most importantly, just like you support Supergiant, you can support us. Patreon.com/kindafunny and keep Kinda Funny independent. Right now, as you see Andy coming into they can't see you yet. They're not even using the shot where they can see you, Andy. Come on in. He's coming in to do the post show that you can only get on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
So Among Us has been downloaded 324 million times.
Okay.
And that's as of June 2021. Let me see if I can find Hades sales. Because Hades, of course, costs more than Among Us.
324 million?
Yeah. But also, I think you can get it for free on some platforms.
That's
maybe mobile.
Maybe mobile.
More people than exist on the planet, Greg.
That's not what.
Welcome in, everybody, for the Super Chat, the post-show kind of games daily Super Chat. I'm going to read all your Super Chats. And maybe your subscription messages if you're watching on the Twitch side. Like what Lakers had said. Subscribing for 73 months. Said, Pikmin 4 will be Game of the Year 2023.
Whoa.
Bold claim. That's a pretty bold claim right there.
Call your shot, though. I appreciate it.
They're biased.
A Ross for Words. Very, very nice username right there. $5 Super Chat says, Yo, Bless, pop off about Street Fighter 6. What characters do you like and hate? Did you watch CEO? How's the journey going?
I didn't watch CEO, but I did see that IDOM lost because he chose a character who was not his main, and a lot of people were confused, and I think that's very funny because he wanted to see how another competitor would react to that character. So yeah, I didn't get to see CEO.
That's like a congratulations you played yourself moment. Like,
yeah,
don't try to overdo it, you know?
Yeah, it's like don't get too cute.
Yeah.
But it seems like maybe he didn't care that much. He was just like, hey, I'm doing this for experiment. Maybe he was trying to practice a thing for Evo when that comes around, so he can actually win Evo. But yeah, I've still been playing Street Fighter. The characters I love, I mean, I'm still using Kimberly and Luke. I'm using more Luke than Kimberly. Right now with Luke, I finally reached gold. It's the highest I've reached in ranked so far. I know it's not like super high, but it's high for me. God dang it. It's my first Street Fighter, so I'm going to be happy and proud about it.
Congratulate him, everybody. Come on.
Yeah, drop your congrats in chat.
Jesus.
Kimberly, right now I'm at a silver 3. And so I have like 2 more stars to go before I'm able to reach gold with her. And I think it's going to happen. I've been getting better with Kimberly. But yeah, those are the 2 characters I love. I fucking hate E-Honda. If you use E-Honda, I'm not going to call you that word right now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I mean, I heard E-Honda's like the most toxic of players or of characters.
Ridiculous how OP Honda is. Manon, can't stand her. Marissa, can't stand her.
Can't stand
her. In fact, pretty much any character that's not Kimberly or Luke, can't stand her. Can't stand them. Because I've been finding some Kens and Ryus that have been annoying me lately. Because like they're uppercuts, man. You know, if I try to jump in, it's like the perfect anti-air. I can't do anything. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the question.
Nathaniel Cook with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Nathaniel Cook. Super chatting over on the YouTube side says, out of all the upcoming rare fantasy RPG, creature catcher, environmental god games featuring fantastic animals, which one are you looking forward to, most looking forward to, and why is it Everwild?
Everwild. Breathe
Hello, this game just got delayed.
Nobody knows.
Risk
And
Runner.
I wonder when I catch the animal, if you ever want to ever wild forever, ever wild with me again.
Perfect Dark is also years. So many years away now. Data Chicken, 9 months of Prime.
Lawsuit.
Not much of a question, but isn't the worst case scenario when a publisher releases an IP on multiple platforms, then shifts to only one, in parentheses, Square and Final Fantasy comes to mind. Isn't it worse than a new IP that's exclusive from the start? Are you talking just like fairness?
Just like, I mean, what's the scenario? Did the company get acquired? Is somebody paying for? Because like,
I mean, it doesn't sound like it got acquired. Like,
because when the Rise of the Tomb Raider happened in 2015, people were upset when Rise of the Tomb Raider was Xbox exclusive all of a sudden.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I think that's annoying.
We were mad about that.
But like, I don't know. Business is business. I think it's cool when games come everywhere. I think that's dope. But when they don't, that happens. You know?
I think what's worse about it is that
smiling.
I saw you out. You were out there without a net. It happens to each and every one of us. We got out there. We're in the middle of a sentence, like, oh fuck.
I think what's worse is that there's
business is business, and I love coming everywhere.
There's been no like promise of it coming to Xbox. Because I mean, when Tomb Raider had the Xbox thing, they were like, hey, it's exclusive for a while, right? Like that was never
a year.
It was. I mean, it was exclusive for a year, but I don't know if they actually said that.
I thought they did. I thought it was known that, hey, this game is going to be exclusive for a long time on Xbox, and then it'll come to PlayStation. And if Square said Final Fantasy 16 exclusive to PlayStation for a while, timed exclusivity or whatever, then I'd understand and feel a little bit better about it. But I mean, they'd probably have more frames issues if it was going to be on more consoles. On my last nerve, 27 months.
Thank you, Roger.
Wow, it looks so warm, Roger.
He's such a good guy.
27 months says more like Fallout. I don't know what that means. CJ Splits on $5 super chat says, did you all see that Housemarque was an acquisition target from Microsoft? It seems like even they knew it would be a weird purchase.
That'd be so fucked up. That legit is like, you know, like your homie's talking to a girl, and then like you're like, right after they get done talk to her, you're like, hey, you want to go out on a date? And you straight up like just take him or take her from him. Like that's like Housemarque would have been fucked up.
It's like that scene from Spider-Man 1, Andy, where you know Tobey Maguire's trying to flirt with MJ, and then what's his face, Harry Osborn uses all the lines to flirt with MJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember in Spider-Man 3? Like strawberries. Those movies were so good. Not 3, but you know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's still a fun time to watch.
yeah,
Three's fun.
You've sold them up the river.
No. I mean, I regret that. I regret that with part 1.
Thank
But
you.
man, I mean, come on. Just go watch Harry Osborn in part 2 and tell me that's a decent performance. Yo, call me Rob with a $5 super chat says, yo, is Torgal the best dog in video games?
I think I saw this being written into the
Up there.
question bucket. Torgal.
Dog meat from
I was gonna say
Fallout
dog meat is up there.
Koromaru from Persona 3.
Nintendogs.
3. 10 dogs, that's a good one.
The dogs that are at the stables in Tears of the Kingdom.
Kindafunny.com/old store now works.
Yoshi?
Yoshi's only like half a dog. Oh, Bird Dog from Trico. No, that's not the name of the game. Trico's his name, actually.
Last Guardian.
Last Guardian.
The three-headed dog from Hades.
The the three-headed dog from Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone video game.
SAT Wood with a $5 super chat says Alamo Draft House is opening a new location in Boston. I've always wanted to go. Worth it?
Oh my god, totally.
Wicked.
I love Alamo Draft
What was
House.
that?
No, there's a bunch of.
Was that your Boston?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love Alamo Draft House.
That was like
yes.
if Toad
totally
was
worth
from
it.
Boston.
IMO.
Also, D-Dog from Metal Gear 5.
Oh, that's a good one.
Just don't, like, if you
Shadow.
do go, don't feel bad when...
Here we go.
You're not allowed to feel bad when people just walk in front of you because they're bringing a goddamn 6-course meal to somebody's table.
I mean,
You
that's
know,
the
like,
whole reason you're there, though. You're there to be able to get a drink and order and eat food, and
It's just, it'll
on a
catch you off
subpar
guard.
screen.
It'll catch you off guard.
How will it catch you off guard? You know that's why you're going there.
No,
The
but
shtick
it's
of
not as
going
bad as you think it is. It's
Oh,
worse.
sure. Oh. I'll tell you what, man. You know how I always am very much an advocate for theaters going out of business, getting everything day and date digital. Alamo would still be one I would go to for big things I want to go see, because I know I'm going in there. And I also, what I appreciate about Alamo Draft House is they run it like the old ragtag cinema back in Columbia, Missouri in my day, but they run it of like, hey, we love movies. So if someone here is being an annoying motherfucker, put up the card and we'll throw them out. Whereas, like, in the real theater, you go there, you got fucking annoying-ass people all around you. I can't do anything about it. Kevin just fucking is... I can't get rid of Kevin, you know?
I mean, it's kind of weird for a theater to say that when there are 17 bartenders walking around fucking flinging you shots and throwing shrimp in your mouth. Like
Hey, lemonade! Lemonade!
Cotton candy!
What's a beer? Peanuts?
Come on, this lady just died in the movie. I'm trying to concentrate.
I'm on Game Rant right now for the list of 14 best dogs in video games, right? And it's like number 8 is like D-Dog from Metal Gear Solid 5. You got Polterpup from Luigi's Mansion 3. You got the Duck Hunt dog. But then you get to number 5 and they say the annoying dog from Undertale. It's not they never refer to it as annoying dog in the game. Wait, do they really?
Fake fan, fake fan, fake fan, fake fan.
The one that you pet?
The one that's like secretly Toby Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, it's annoying? It's supposed to be an annoying dog?
Yeah.
Oh, I never caught the annoying part. I always thought it was cute.
Oh, also Portella's like in 900 video games. He should be on there.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That is actually pretty true.
Top 20.
I would pick him for a Guacamelee too.
Oh, it
I
is
like
an
that
annoying
one.
dog.
Manny Bagel Boy Sanchez with a $10 super chat says, Greg, the MLS is worth $16 billion and WWE is $8 billion. So I challenge you to a franchise off. Bring your best superstar and I'll bring Messi to a cage match. I'd rather bring Ronaldo, but he's busy. He's busy catching L's left and right, Manny Bagel Boy. He'll never
let's
be
see him
Messi.
take down Brock
Damn.
Lesnar. All right, the Beast incarnate.
Well, also Messi's like 5'4", right?
Yeah,
Hey man,
Messi's not
yeah,
that
I
tall.
just accepted the challenge with Brock Lesnar, so there you go.
It's too late,
How
Manny.
did you get 5'4" from Messi?
He's like 5'5", 5'6", or something.
He's 5'7".
He's a leprechaun.
No, he's not 5'7".
I mean, honestly, the Google heights are always like a few inches.
He
too
was
tall,
given
so, yeah.
steroids as a kid by his parents. That is a true story.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was given like human growth hormones as a child because his parents knew that he was going to be like 5'2", 5'1", and they really had to kind of buff him as a kid.
I mean, you know what steroids do to you? Cat Williams talked about it in his special.
Whatever.
You know where we're going with this one? Go for it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Remember,
All balls?
Look it up. Look it
All
up.
balls?
Make your dick little.
Every time we bring Cat Williams up, we talk about beat up by that kid. Every time, and it's like Cat Williams comes up like a bewildering amount of around us, and every time I think about how he's just getting choked out by
Choked
that
out by
kid.
a middle school.
What a place in time.
Speaking of short people.
What a place in time. Man, that video just started saying, "Oh my God, this little kid just beat the shit out of Cat Williams." Santiago donated as a certain amount of currency that I am not familiar with. Is ARS.
Okay.
Amazonian Republic. Yeah, can you figure out what
Ours currency is Argentina peso.
Argentinian peso? Says, hey guys, did you see the news from the FTC trial documents about Project Q is presumably going to cost around $300? What are they thinking? Call him.
No,
It's just gonna be, the thing I saw was that it was gonna be under $300.
and they also call it like a portable PlayStation 5. Like they're using a lot of fast and loose stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's Microsoft, speculating what PlayStation's gonna do.
Junior Santiago Jack donated $5 and says, Final Fantasy 16 has made me really sad. Beat it, and I feel like all the magic of Final Fantasy was stripped away. Not sure if it's a problem of my legacy expectations or not.
I think it's probably legacy expectations. Yeah, like I mean that's what I've seen for a lot of people that don't love Final Fantasy 16 as much as that they're going into it with the idea of what they believe Final Fantasy to be. It reminds me a bit of when Assassin's Creed transitioned in Assassin's Creed
into
Origins.
the RPG thing.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, this is like the game might be dope, right? But this isn't what I love about Assassin's Creed. I think quite a few people might be having that with Final Fantasy, which I get.
Like they're playing this and they're like, man, the dialogue's so good here. This isn't what I want.
This isn't the normal garbage.
The doors don't look terrible in this video game.
Brian the Woeful with a $10 super chat says, people have long tried to bury Japan's dominant influence in gaming, but this year is huge for the East. Worried as we get closer to the Game Awards, we will see racist attitudes towards a country that saved games. Brian the Woeful, that's a strong, weird take.
Yeah, are people doing that?
That's a weird fucking take.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's your taste is gonna vary person to person. I'm somebody who I think I would probably put like a lot. Like my favorite games are mostly Japanese games than Western games.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't see gaming having the nationalism that you may think it has. It is.
People
rare are going to argue console warrior type stuff. Like that's the sort of split that we see in gaming. I don't think you're ever going to see somebody try to deliberately talk shit about a game made in the East because they want their Western game to...
I mean, I'm sure there are people that are like that, like fucking weird, but that's not going to be like a full force thing that you see in
like the Game Awards.
Like
Zelda Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year a couple years ago, and Tears of the Kingdom is probably going to win.
Elden Ring did pretty well too.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is, like, what we see on the internet is such a small portion of what's actually happening in like spaces around the world. And we're talking about like, dude, that opinion that exists on the internet, nobody knows about that outside of what's happening on Twitter. And I feel like that even smaller portion of like Japanese games shouldn't win because I'm rooting for the Western games to beat them. I feel like that's even a smaller portion of that smaller portion.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah. When I picked up Cyberpunk for the first time, I was not like, oh yes, Poland. I love my Polish.
This game's gonna be super impressive. It was made by Polish people.
I love my Polish video game development. But also, I think regarding that too, I think if you get like into if you dig up further deeper into people might be biased against JRPGs, I think there's a conversation there, right, regarding like the tone and the expectation, all that. But like, I also think that applies to different genres, right? Like, I don't expect a fighting game to win Game of the Year sometimes, right? Like, I'll say a JRPG is much likelier to win Game of the Year than a fighting game, right? Like, I think there's different things there, but Japanese video game development and like Eastern video game development is so wide and varied in terms of the kind of games you get from that like that side of the world that it's really hard to put it in a bucket. And so, yeah, I don't really agree with the premise here.
Echo with a $5 super chat says, a teacher at my middle school choke slammed a kid when I was there. I imagine Cat Williams' thing was like that. Well, you don't have to imagine it. The video's there. The video's on the internet. You can go look for it.
I'll tell you, it's more entertaining than anything we could possibly do right now. So you should go watch it on YouTube.
Futon with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Futon. That's a big old super chat. Says, do you think that the Last of Us Online game being cut could actually be a good sign for the live service games they were willing to reveal? Considering Bungie would have looked at them at all, and The Last of Us... considering Bungie would have looked at them all, and The Last of Us would be the last to cut.
I understand what he's saying, or they're saying. It's a sign that those mechanics for all these different live service games that we saw are making more sense, are more in line with being fun or something to that mark. Doesn't inspire confidence in me that they think they'll work, that they'll take. How many live games can you play, Andy? How many of these games as a service can you actually invest in?
Dude, I mean, there's like, I can't even put time into... Here's the thing I hate getting asked, Greg.
Sure.
And because it always makes me feel like I don't love... Like, I often get asked, do you even play Overwatch anymore? I'm like, well, I probably would if there wasn't 7 other games that I'd rather be playing, in this current moment. Same thing with Diablo. It's like, anytime I log on to my Xbox to like just watch something and I'm like, oh man, I want to play Diablo, but like it's too late because I was up late playing all the other shit that's out right now.
Yep.
Like, it's never an indictment about the game. It's always just
not enough hours in the day.
It's more of a praise
not
of
enough
the
hours
rest
in the
of what the industry is doing. Also, I've been playing the shit out of Remnant from the Ashes. I think you'd really dig it.
The first one?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Like, it's obviously it's old by this point, and part 2 is coming out very soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I really am having a lot of fun with it. The boss fights are very fun, and it's very challenging.
Oh yeah.
It's about time. Thank you for your Tier 1 subscription on Twitch. Appreciate your 41 months of support. Timmy Buddy, 33 months of Tier 1 as well. Heaven to Hell with a $5 super chat. Says Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter, Tears, Pikmin, Armored Core 4, RE4. Most people love games from Japan, but there has been condescension. Look at what Yoshi P said.
Armored Core 6. And Yoshi P is talking specifically about JRPGs. Like, I think JRPGs have had stigma in the West, at least in the past, right? Because I think people I love the bobblehead. I think the ways in which people will talk about, like, you know, dialogue and cheesiness, or like, you know, like there's a certain tone that JRPGs I think are stigmatized with, right? That people have expected from JRPGs, and I can understand how people in the West would take that, judge that, and go like, oh no, like people. I think if you come to somebody and you're like, hey, describe a JRPG, they're gonna describe like one of the billion Square Enix games that they develop and put out, right? But like they're not. I feel like you don't immediately jump to something like Persona, or like, you know, something that is more fresh, or something that, like, I don't know. Like I feel like there's those stereotypes that people would make fun of, but I don't think that's a wide thing, at least anymore, right? I think JRPGs have seen a lot of growth, and like a lot of people are willing to, like, I think a lot of people are more open to accept them in a broader way.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Naughty Biscotti, 81 months. Wow, it's wild to see these numbers. Like when we read out these subs, I've often in the past couple of weeks seen 100-month resubscribers. It's wild to see like triple digits on there. Thank you, Naughty Biscotti, for your 81 months. Says so close to that beautiful 7-year badge. Did I make a 7-year badge? Yeah, I definitely did. There's a lot of different badges made out there. It looks like we're gonna close it out, everybody, unless we get any last second ones, because we got about 3 minutes remaining. But after this, we'll be kicking it to the lab, where Nick is back into Tears of the Kingdom.
Wow,
he's gonna get back into this journey. And, you know, pray for this, you know, just old man trying to deal with the most complicated control scheme a video game's ever had.
You just can't do it.
It's really, really tough for him. Solidus, thank you for your 67 months of Prime Gaming. Brian McBrien. 99 months of support, says, hashtag make jerk-off stations legal.
Wait, was that the thing?
That's what started off the podcast yesterday.
I mean, is there a specific law saying that jerk-off stations are illegal?
Well, other people do it
no
for
sexual.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, Greg starts out the podcast yesterday going, look, here's the thing. Why is it illegal to have someone jerk you off?
I'm just saying, you can get a massage. You can't get a jerk off. That's weird.
Potatoes, 76 months of support.
It's not illegal to have somebody jerk you off. I guess paying for it, yeah.
Seb, no, that's what he's saying.
Okay.
He's saying, like, you know, like
it's a long conversation.
Yeah,
it's very analytical and scientific.
Yeah, we really do some deep dives. Echo with a $2 super chat says, "Is a 7-year badge the American flag?" Andy, that's all right. That's a little deep reference right there.
American flag.
I one of my sub badges was meant to look like a vaporwave. You know, like 80s chrome sometimes look when like you see 80s chrome graphics, and it's like got like a reflection like pink and white and blue, and
yeah.
That was one of my sub badges. And everybody was like, "Wait, I thought that was the American flag." Like everybody in my chat was like,
"Oh, that's funny."
Was like, "Oh, I just thought you were MAGA." I don't know, man. So then everybody just kept on saying like the next flag should be the Mexican flag and shit like that. Green with, can you look up NOK currency?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, please look that up.
It
was 50.
That is the Norwegian krone.
Norwegian krone says, clear your mind. Do you believe Cyberpunk 2077 was more buggy than average Bethesda releases?
Yes.
Not even a question.
Mine cleared. Dante with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Dante. No message, just wanted a super chat. Ken J, 33 months of support. 29 months from Bond Diesel. And the final super chat of the day from our little super chat session comes from Cooper with a $2 super chat says, "Kinda handy is the name of the station." Well, it was going to be Greg's jerk off stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have him out there.
We already named it on the show. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You should have watched the show.
We're going to have him out there. Then we talked about, like, maybe,
Could you do a
like, hey,
robot?
we accept Anthem Insurance and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Like, we're like, maybe it's a health thing. Maybe.
It's like a lemonade stand. Like,
Yeah,
having your
exactly.
front
No,
yard?
it's more like a drive-up coffee stand.
I saw.
Yeah.
So I,
I got a call. I got a business to do.
on a Saturday, I saw a kid with a lemonade stand, but like they were selling Gatorade,
Oh.
and like I don't know why I found that so fucking funny. I was like,
You didn't
why?
make anything. You didn't make anything here.
Gatorade? Like you're doing a lemonade stand that's Gatorade? Like get out of
Hey,
here.
let's
kid.
mix some Gatorade. Mix it together or
Like
something.
if I was that kid's age, I might become a bully. You know what I mean?
Blighted.
All right, I'm going to call into this call. Bye.
Blighted Tomato, thanks for the prime. And the final one, $5. Is weed legal? Kind of funny. It sure is, Kev Molio. Thank you for
No, Mike wouldn't have a job if it wasn't.
thank you for all of your support, everybody. We'll see you right after this as Nick continues his Tears of the Kingdom adventure, and I'll be joining him. We'll see you in a bit, everybody. Stay where you are.